From the Beyond Unreasonable Doubt Studios, in association with Feitner Productions, it's Lay Down the Law! With your host, Billy DeClercq.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah, that's right, Billy, that's you. Featuring Henry DeWitt, Stephen C. James, and Artoun Nazareth. Only a madman would dare to bring these people together to build a world of law and order, only to tear it apart with laughter. That madman is attorney Billy DeClercq. The result is a podcast blasted to the farthest reaches of the internet. That podcast is this one, and it starts right now.
Welcome to Laying Down the Law, Earmark Edition, the law and comedy podcast hosted by me, unacknowledged bastard child of Steve Martin and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Billy DeClercq.
I like it.
I'd like to introduce my three guests today. First, let's welcome a new guest, first time on the show. He's an actor, writer, and improviser, originally from Washington, D.C., and a student at UC Riverside. He works at hospitality, and he's a member of the indie improv group Rave Propellers. And even though he's attending UC Riverside, he lives in Santa Monica, and that is a long-ass way to drive, and that must be why his favorite color is blue. He is Henry DeWitt. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is an honor to finally be able to help out this amazing show.
You say that now. Wait till you're done. If it's possible to actually burn a podcast down, you'll want to do that.
Okay.
All right. Next, let's welcome back a returning guest. He's an actor, storyteller, writer, and director who's been featured on The Moth, Second City LA, and on the Super Legit podcast. He's one half of the comedy duo Nerdvana. Please welcome the reluctant hero of a middle school drama class, Mr. Stephen C. James.
Hey, everybody. This is what I sound like. Yeah.
All right. And finally, coming back on the show after a long hiatus, he's a comedian and actor known for his wacky characters, sketch performances, and improv at UCB. Keep an eye out for him in The Connors, Stumptown, and Ghostbusters Afterlife, or on stage at UCB, assuming UCB ever reopens, with his Herald team, Ghost. Please welcome a professional hypnotist, Artoun Nazareth.
Hello, hello, hello. Don't worry, I'm not going to put anyone to sleep today. Hopefully.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you all on the show. And before we get into it, let's leave a break here for our sponsor, assuming we have one.
Insert advertisement here.
Okay, well, I hope you all buy that product and or service, whatever it is. We're going to have a sponsor at some point in time. If not, it'll just be like a minute of blank space.
I'm so glad I wrote down that promo code.
Yeah.
If there was one.
Exactly. Yeah. So the case of the week deals with a concept called fiduciary duty. And a fiduciary is someone who has a special duty of care and consideration for another person. A confidential relationship, like a lawyer or a trustee, is a fiduciary. So this case is a classic case by Judge Benjamin Cardozo, one of my favorite justices because his prose is so flowery. This is from the New York in 1928.
I'd like to compliment the improvisers for being so mature and not leaping to the duty joke.
It was there
word twice, and it's all I could do to hang on. I was just white knuckling it.
We all saw that. That was the low hanging fruit, and we were juicing at the mouth for it.
Oh yeah, no, I mean pretty much the first year of law school. It's just all you talk about is duty. Is do you have a duty of care or a duty, a fiduciary duty, or a duty to avoid hurting other people? There's lots of different kinds of duties. You have contractual duties. You have duties in tort duties, all kinds of duties.
The first thing that popped out to me was douche. So quit being a fiduciary. I was kind of going down that road.
A fiduciary duty. Yeah.
You're also saying it very confidently. Why don't you go ahead and spell it for us as well, so we're all on the same page?
Fiduciary. You want me to spell fiduciary duty?
Please.
Okay. Fiduciary. Fiduciary.
That's somebody who's handled a lot of duty.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a very clean duty, the fiduciary duty.
But you can't tell anyone. Apparently, it's confidential. You
It is
can't.
highly confidential.
You got to keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
This is a case of a partnership. April 10th of 1902, Louisa M. Jerry leased to defendant Walter J. Salmon the Hotel Bristol. And it was at the corner of 42nd Street and Fifth Avenue in New York City for 20 years, starting in May of 1902, ending April 30th, 1922. The point of the lease was they were going to upgrade the hotel, use it for shops and offices, and spend $200,000. While Salmon entered into the lease for the hotel.
And we're sure Salmon's a real person, not a fish.
Well, his name is Walter J. Salmon. So
Okay.
I think the Walter J part either suggests that he had a mustache or it was a fish with a mustache. Or he was a human.
With the investment in real estate, he might be like first generation land salmon.
Yeah.
Like, his ancestors, like his grandparents came up the river, and like he doesn't even acknowledge bears anymore. Like he's like moved on from this, and he's like, I'm in business now. And they're like, why don't you ever swim upstream anymore? And he's like, I'm in business.
I've got a vest and a cravat. Get out of my face. And a monocle.
I also, for the rest of this podcast, this is what I'm going to be picturing in my head anytime we talk about this person. And I hope for the listeners as well, you're picturing this cartoon fish in this very real scenario.
Cartoon fish.
Well, it turns out that Walter J. Salmon is a dirty double crosser, as you'll find out.
Like all fish.
Like
yeah, I
all-
said it. Go ahead and cancel
Whoa,
me.
whoa,
Internet.
whoa, whoa. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a salmon. It's a salmon that we have to look out for, man. It's not. Let's not go too
Sorry,
overboard.
not all
Oh, yeah.
fish. Sorry,
Not all
just
fish,
salmon.
not all fish.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to trust that. You can't trust the salmon. Yeah, so Salmon also made a deal with Meinhard, who was the plaintiff, and sued him, and that was for money. The result was they had a joint venture, and they wrote up an agreement. The idea of the agreement was that Meinhard was going to pay Salmon half of the money to do the reconstruction, the renovation of the hotel, and Salmon was going to give Meinhard 40% of the profits for the first 5 years and 50% for the last 15 years. And if there were losses, they were going to bear them equally. So Salmon was supposed to run it. Meinhard was going to pay for it. Now, this is a very typical situation that comes up in partnership disputes. Sometimes I tell my clients, definition of a partnership is one person has money and the other person has experience. And by virtue of a partnership, they trade places so that the one that started with the money ends up with experience and no money. And the one that had experience ends up with all the money.
It sounds like you do a lot of sex work law. Is that
Funny you should mention.
yeah?
It's one of my lesser known areas of the practice. Talk about confidential relations, right? Because they're partners, the law of partnership means that you have a fiduciary relationship with your partner. You can't stab them in the back, basically. Cardozo says they were co-adventurers. And so in the beginning, project was losing money. And later on, it started making a lot of money. But they were in it jointly for better or for worse. Now, near the end of the lease in around 1922, Elbridge Jerry, Louisa Jerry was the original one. Elbridge Jerry, I don't know if it was a son or a grandson or whatever, became the owner of the property and was the owner of other property in the neighborhood. Another building, the Bristol building on Fifth Avenue, and 4 lots on 42nd Street. And he was planning to lease the whole thing to someone who would destroy the buildings and put up another one. So he was shopping the project around. And finally, with just 4 months left in the lease, he went and he talked to that dirty double dealer, Salmon. And the result was Salmon cut a deal with Elbridge Jerry, which was a 20-year lease, and there was going to be multiple renewals up to 80 years. The buildings were going to be torn down, and a new building for $3 million was going to be placed on the site. And the rental for the lease was going to be $350,000 to $400,000 a year for the properties. So Salmon basically cut this great deal for the land, which was signed in January of 1922. Salmon didn't tell Meinhard anything about it.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Wow.
He said nothing to it. He didn't let him know until the lease was up.
God, mine heartbroken, you know.
It felt like this was going south from the on the outset.
Yeah.
Right.
My big clue to that was the verses in the middle of the title.
Yeah, exactly. That's a giveaway. Mhm.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Basically, Meinhard said because this was an opportunity, this opportunity to do this big development came to you as part of our partnership. You know, the one where I gave you the money and you were supposed to run the hotel. Well, you were running the hotel. You should have told me that we had this other chance, this other opportunity, instead of cutting me out of the deal. And so Justice Cardozo writes, by the way, if you ever Google Cardozo, he looks shockingly similar to Conan O'Brien. So you sort of imagine a Conan O'Brien in a robe.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite things when you Google someone from history and they're like old-timey hot. And you're like, what was going on? Didn't everybody just like reek of dysentery and filth? How did you wind up looking like 1820s George Clooney?
Cardozo, I think he took plenty of money under the table, frankly. I think he did all right, but he was almost on the Supreme Court himself.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
His writing is, let's say, flowery, and this piece is just a piece of writing. It's like Shakespeare to a lawyer, but it says, joint adventurers, like co-partners, owe to one another, while the enterprise continues, the duty of the finest loyalty. Many forms of conduct permissible in the workaday world for those acting at arm's length.
The workaday world?
Workaday world. The ordinary world of business.
That puritanical idea where you work and then you go to church. And that's it.
You roll your sleeves up.
Mhm.
You do a work.
That's right. Exactly.
You go to work at a job that will kill you eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. These are forbidden in a world. Those are forbidden by those bound by fiduciary ties. A trustee is held to something stricter than the morals of the marketplace. Not honesty alone, but the punctilio of an honor, the most sensitive, is then the standard of behavior. A punctilio of honor. I believe punctilio is the finest point, but I'm not really sure.
Producer Jeff here. According to Merriam-Webster, punctilio is defined as a minute detail of conduct in a ceremony or an observance of a code. All right, back to the real shit.
And as to this, there has developed a tradition that is both unbending and inveterate. Uncompromising rigidity has been the attitude of the courts of equity when petitioned to undermine the rule of undivided loyalty by the disintegrating erosion of exceptions.
What?
Yeah. So basically, the courts don't make any the translated. Like,
Are
what
we?
the hell?
I forgot to ask. Do we have to keep clean language here? Are we keeping this G-rated?
This is not. This is. We're gonna put a little E next to it, so feel free to cuss as much as you want. Mhm.
Okay.
So, like, what the fuck did I just say?
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Something is getting disintegrated.
Disintegrating
something else is
erosion. Yeah.
Eroding.
Yeah. So
Double
basically,
whammy.
yeah, he says there's this tradition that you must hold fiduciaries to a higher standard. It's never can be eroded. You can't. It's uncompromisingly rigid. The courts absolutely hold people to this standard, and there can be no exceptions. The level of conduct for fiduciaries is kept at a level higher than those trodden by the crowd. It will not consciously be lowered by any judgment of this court. I mean, he's really just
Yeah.
I mean, that's
feel
like throwing down.
I feel like the judge is both getting really into it to say, like, listen, you're in business. You're not like those pores who have to go to work every day. A lot of real classism in there. Like, we're better than those people. We can keep a deal. And then also it's a really fancy way too of being like, hey, dude, you should have waited like 4 months.
Yeah.
And you had said, you know what? I'm busy right now. Let's talk about this in October. You would have been fine.
Basically, Cardozo translates to "don't fuck your partner over." That's pretty much it.
What I felt that.
Yeah, that's basically what it's all about.
Yeah, I picked that up too.
Yeah.
I've got that crocheted on a pillow on my rec room.
Don't.
Yeah.
Don't fuck me over. You're just looking at it. Like,
Yeah.
Don't fuck myself over.
Yeah, don't fuck my partner over. My wife made it. She's like, don't fuck your partner over. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you flip it over on the other side, it says, if you leave me, I will hunt you down and end you. Yeah.
Love plus fear is pretty much the secret of a good relationship.
The 5th anniversary is threatening pillow. Yeah.
Wow. And it seems you also seem to have a fiduciary relationship with this pillow. It seems if you fuck the pillow over,
Yeah.
I've heard what's on the back.
Yes, exactly. There are consequences for your actions. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, were these partners Meinhard and
Salmon?
And Salmon? How could I forget Salmon? What were they not contractually obligated? On paper. I mean, what was the?
That's a great question. So in modern partnership agreements and modern like limited liability corporation agreements, you can modify your fiduciary duties. A lot of partnership disputes, they relate to what the default rules of fiduciary duties are, the rules that are set by the law that you can adjust in an agreement. So in the agreement here in 1922 between Meinhard and Salmon, I think they didn't have an agreement that was spelled out what the fiduciary duties were. Didn't say that Salmon couldn't steal the opportunity if it came up. So Cardozo is pretty much putting a heavy hand on it and saying, hey, you're partners, you have a duty not to usurp a corporate opportunity. So usurpation of a corporate opportunity just means that you're in a partnership together, and if there's something that comes up, you can't basically cut your partner out and take the other deal. But now, if you have a written partnership agreement, one of the issues that you would typically deal with is conflicts of interest and competing activities. Under the law of limited liability companies, you can agree that the fiduciary duties will be to a minimal level. There are several fiduciary duties. There's a duty of loyalty, a duty of care, there's a duty of good faith and fair dealing, the implied covenant of good faith and fair dealing, which means basically that you can't deprive someone of the benefits of the contract. It's not in the contract, but if you do something that basically makes the contract worthless to the other person, then you can be sued for that. So in the case of Meinhard and Salmon, the issue is Salmon's basically saying the contract doesn't prevent me from doing this. So he probably figured, look, we have a deal for running a hotel. He put in the money, I put in the time. He made a lot of money based on my hard work. And this other deal came up because I was here, running the thing. And I don't have any duty I'm not under any obligation to go tell Meinhard about it, even though he's an investor, but I don't have to tell my investor like, hey, look, we can do this other project and make a lot of money from it because I'm going to take this for myself.
And Meinhard.
I was just gonna ask. So if Salmon finds $10 in one of the rooms of the building, is he obligated to tell Meinhard that he found those $10? That $10 bill?
Oh yeah, I'd say for sure, because the agreement that says it says here that would be net profit. So he would have to give, if it was in the first 5 years, he would have to give $4 to Meinhard, and if it was in the last 15 years, he would have to give him 50 cents. Oh no, $5. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I was joking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Never try and make a joke to a lawyer.
Clearly.
This is a law and comedy podcast. There's nothing funny about the law.
Just so I have it straight, Salmon's saying, look, money, I can make my own deals. That's it. The hotel is a hotel. And then Meinhard's going, bros before hotels is what he's saying.
That's exactly what he's saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't believe that I might be about to take the pro fish philosophy here, but Meinhard, I'm pretty sure, seems like a guy who's really, really, really rich, that he can invest all this money. And Salmon's like, oh, I'm almost free from the yoke of this deal with the Meinhard devil that I made. I've only got 4 months left. I can go into business with Jerry, who knows? Everybody named Jerry is a great guy, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I can finally go into business with Jerry, and I can rid myself of Meinhard. which is an ironic name because the guy's heartless. And so let me go ahead and make this deal as soon as possible, because like he came from nothing. He built himself up to this like minor hotel magnate, and now is going to be free and branch out into real estate. I can't believe it. I know Salmon was found in the wrong, but now I'm feeling like Judge Conan O'Brien may have just been siding with the rich guys.
Yes, and that's one of the things that Judge Conan O'Brien is known for. Cardozo does tend to side with the rich guys a lot, which is why he had such fine oral hygiene and skincare.
Well, you were saying earlier he was getting paid under the table. He's known for that, right?
That's just me trashing an old dead white guy.
Oh.
That's a whole. We have a whole segment of the show in which we trash old dead white guys for no good reason except I've got
a separate lawyer question that has to do with podcasts. Then is that slander or libel? Because it's slander when you say it and libel when you write it down, right? Mm-hmm. But since this is recorded, is that a form of writing it down?
Oh my God! I think you stumped me.
Moving on.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to say to Jeff, oh yeah, Jeff, just cut this part out. But then Jeff's going to actually leave it in. Slander or libel pod. You've got cast. Let's see what Google says. I definitely know the answer to this.
I also love the idea that every time a lawyer is in court, like now could we just all like help Google things? I certainly know in my classroom, because I'm a school teacher. In my classroom, there are many times when I'm like, yes, of course I know the answer to that, kid. Hang on a second. Let me answer this email real quick, and then I'll tell you what it is. Hold on. Very important email. Hang on a second. I'm just going to turn my computer over here and just answering this email. Boy, this is urgent. And then I'm like, oh, now that I've hit send, the answer to your question that I knew before is.
Yeah.
Mr. James, why do you keep going to the bathroom every time we ask you these questions? I don't understand.
Well, first of all, I love leaving students unsupervised.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if I told you this, Steve. I was a middle school and high school teacher before I went to law school. And so my go-to was I taught at Dixon High School, which is a suburb of Davis. My go-to was putting people on the ramp because we were in the temporary buildings.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go on the ramp. But the problem is the ramp gets crowded after 3 or 4 students are out there.
Yeah. And then all the kids on the ramp are like, oh, this is much better. Let's just get together and destroy something.
Yeah. I mean, we're totally unsupervised here. And, on the other side of a door, and I'm out of Mr. D's boring ass class.
I also feel like you telling me that you were a middle school teacher before you became a lawyer is like somebody going up to an alcoholic in the bar and being like, I'm sober now. Like there's a way out.
No, man. Middle school, man, it's actually a really, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing time. And the people who can do it, I have the utmost respect, because it's what I learned, and you can tell me because you obviously have more experience, but the thing that I gathered is that it's really a vocation, and you really have to be, and the thing about, I wanted to teach like whatever it was I was teaching, video production using camcorders, or, we're going to read, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. But in fact, you're teaching kids. Yeah, that's the thing. And I remember another teacher that I was with said, like, I don't know if I can do this. And he's like, yeah, I just like the interaction. Yeah.
It's essentially an empathy class where we sometimes talk about drama.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. So it's truly a beautiful thing. And my hat's off to you. I didn't have the stamina for it.
Am I missing something?
Stephen is legitimately a middle school teacher.
No. I mean, it sounds like this hellscape. I just imagine just the word. It's like, man, you're a middle school teacher. Jesus.
I subbed middle school for maybe 5 days and was like, I'm out of here. So you're in terms of missing, but from me, no way. Yeah. I barely made it out with my life.
Yeah. It's if you think middle school is tough when you're a middle schooler, Try when you're an adult.
Yeah. Because at least when you're a middle schooler, you can just tune out.
Yeah.
They really frown on it when we teachers just tune out.
Yeah.
They really do.
or be equally vicious.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which you can't do when you're the teacher.
No.
Because then they cry.
There was this security camera video, this horrific moment at I don't know where the school was, but some kid was charging out of a classroom into the hallway, and this teacher just starts bearing down on him and just throws him against the wall, and I think he actually even hits him. There's no audio, of course, and obviously that guy's fired and this and that, and I'm just thinking, what did that kid say? It really pissed him off. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way you could have been that bad. You know what I mean?
Well, keep in mind, all those terrible people that some of them, or that you've met. I say that like suddenly Henry's like just like got a slew of terrible people. They're like, these are my best friends. This is my monster squad, everybody. Look, it's Pol Pot, Stalin's in the back. I'm so sorry to besmirch you that way, Henry. But all the bad people you've avoided, some of them went on to become middle school teachers. So just like some of them went on to, work at the DMV, or some of them went on to, be the 45th president of the United States.
Yeah.
We can cut that political joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, no, my political leanings are very obvious to anyone who's listened to this podcast for more than 3 minutes.
Okay.
So we're good. No, totally. And like, there was one guy at the school I taught at that literally he just read the paper. That was what he did. He was just so confused because I was 20, he was 23, 24 at the time. It was like, I kind of fell into teaching because I was an unsuccessful production assistant. And I was like, I need a job. And so then like Artoun, I started substituting, but unlike Artoun, I didn't have the good sense to get out. I was like, more of this, please. So, So fiduciary duty.
Yes.
Cardozo basically says, though, that because Salmon had put himself in a position, he had to renounce himself no matter how hard the abnegation. That's a $10 word right there. He was much more than a co-adventurer. He was the managing co-adventurer, and his rule of undivided loyalty is relentless and supreme. A managing co-adventurer appropriating the benefit, such as this lease, without warning to his partner, might fairly expect to be reproached with conduct that was underhanded or lacking, to say the least. So he just Cardozo's just slapping down Salmon. And Andrews writes a dissenting opinion where he says, essentially, look, guys, this was a deal for a hotel for 20 years. Okay, this wasn't a deal where they were married to each other for life. And essentially says, what was the scope of the adventure? The venture had in view a limited object and was to end at a limited time. There was no intent to expand it into a far greater undertaking for many years. There was a particular lease. Meinhard had an interest, but just in that one lease. And so Andrews basically says, look, guys, setting aside Judge Cardozo's very Shakespearean rhetoric about what the duty is and how it can't ever be lowered, the guys had a 20-year lease. That was the deal. So Salmon didn't do anything wrong by taking this other opportunity, because the deal was 20 years. That was the deal. One hotel, 20 years, not whatever the land was going to turn into next. And Cardozo has this idea, like, you have to basically bare your soul, and you can't do anything for yourself once you're a partner. So that's really the core of the case. And the reason this ends up in the law school textbook is because it illustrates kind of a difficult point about partnerships and about the relationship of fiduciary relationships. What's the scope of the duty? And like we were just talking about a moment ago, the contract becomes really important. For example, under California law, if you enter into a partnership without a written agreement, it's what's called a general partnership. So that's a Cardozo type of partnership, meaning you are on the hook for everything with your partner. If they sign a lease, it's your lease too. Kind of, you're basically business married, and there's no limitation to what the partnership is. So the purpose of the agreement is to really control what the relationship is. And if you think about there's like a lot of litigation that happens because partnerships go sour. Someone sees an opportunity, someone doesn't share all the money, somebody's finding $10 bills in hotel rooms and not telling their partner.
So what's the minimum you got to do to become a partner with someone? Is it like are we talking handshake? You have to, on a piece of paper it's written, or can someone just be like, we're partners, like tag, you're it, and then you're done. You're in this partnership. And he goes, I said I was partners with you, and now it's your fiduciary duty.
If it's that one, I'm going to start running into business meetings right before they sign and being like, we're partners. And then, and I get all their money.
Yeah.
50-50, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, the partnership agreement can be implied from the circumstances. It doesn't need to be a handshake agreement. You don't need to say you're partners. You don't need to have a written agreement. It can just be implied from the circumstances. People go into business together all the time without an agreement. This happens a lot with small businesses. And when one of two things happens, either the business makes a lot of money or the business loses a lot of money. And that's when the partnership fights usually start. But it can be just the way you're doing things. Either maybe you both sign a lease together, or you're putting money in the same bank account and you're working on that, or you're planning things together. And so, it starts, it can start getting confusing. And if somebody gets a whole lot of money, then all of a sudden the other person will say, oh, well, and we were partners, remember? So you got to get it in writing.
It reminds me a little bit of what was that movie Michael Keaton did about Ray Kroc? What was it called?
The Founder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remember that scene where it's the McDonald's brothers and him and just kind of, I don't know, in the back room somewhere, and they do a handshake agreement about, I believe, the usage of the name, if I recall correctly.
Think so.
And then Ray Kroc kind of backstabbed them in that same, almost feels kind of the same space here.
Yeah. I don't remember the details on that, but that's basically the energy that I'm talking about here, is that, if Justice Cardozo had gotten a hands on Ray Kroc, he would have been in a lot of trouble if the McDonald's brothers still had the money to sue him. So that's all the law I have. I may have met my contractual obligations to earmark. If I haven't, then I'm going to have to filibuster for 2 minutes right here.
Well, then I've got a follow-up question then. You are in a fiduciary duty to earmark to make sure that you meet your contractual obligation. If you decide in the middle of this podcast to use some of this audio for like an additional podcast, a separate podcast, would that fall under this same statute of Meinhard versus Salmon?
All right, Blake, this is for Blake Oliver. Just cover your ears for the next 1 minute. Just skip ahead 1 minute, please. Thanks, Blake, founder of Earmark, and my friend. So we don't have a written agreement with Earmark. We just have a handshake agreement. I think it might be documented in a couple of emails, but our deal is that the podcast will be on 2 streams. It's going to be in my existing stream, and it'll be on the Earmark app, available for download, and continuing education credits for accountants. Earmark, free continuing education for accountants. You're welcome, Blake.
So wow, it sounds so easy.
Yeah. So it's not a fiduciary relationship in the sense, because it's not a partnership, I would argue. I'm providing content to Earmark, and they are maybe going to pay for it. I'm not sure. So it's more of a work for hire kind of situation, or like an ordinary business contract. But the line can be fuzzy. When does it become a partnership?
So it's more of
you're calling him a friend,
Yeah.
At what point do we go from friend to partner?
That's a good question. And some people use the word partner kind of colloquially. Like they just say, "Oh yeah, we're partners," and they're I think Starbucks refers to its baristas as partners, I believe, is the
until they unionize, and then it refers to them as fired.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of businesses use the term partners to describe what's going on when it's not a partnership, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here at the prison, we think of our guards as our like our hover buddies. That's what they are. You're not prison guards. We're all on the same team. You're just
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds dystopian now.
Oh, we're living in like the I think like the 10th from the worst timeline. I don't think it's the absolute worst, but it's like
We're near
one of them.
It's a below average timeline.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's a below average timeline.
There's a group, what do they call the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, where they have this doomsday clock,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and we're the closest to midnight than we've ever been in the history of man.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know,
yeah.
here's the issue with framing it as a doomsday clock. Here's the problem with that, is that it sort of seems inevitable that it's going to go towards one thing, right? It's not like the clock is going to go backwards. So it's
Also, which time zone are they talking about?
Yeah,
exactly.
And also, what about the fall? Did the recent ending of daylight savings doom us all? Right?
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
It's
Spring forward. Yeah, we're dead.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
spring forward is like
so-
an hour past.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to blame Joe Biden for doomsday.
Oh no, I
but a lot of people already are.
I know. I think we should. We should
yeah,
absolutely blame Joe Biden. And we should think of some other things to blame him for.
Well, you know, as we all know, he's not even really president right now.
That's
Can't
true.
remember.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's
So-
his fault when bad things happen, even though he's not the real president, right? Is that how it works?
Right.
That's how it
Yes,
I
works?
think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I've heard that it's actually not Joe Biden. It's just a salmon in a suit. Yeah.
He's wearing a mask. You
Yeah.
can see he doesn't
Oh,
move his forehead.
Yeah.
And
Salmon got his revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get him in the
100
right light, you can still see his monocle. Yeah.
Was this in 1920? Was this in 1922 or 1920?
1922 is when the acts in question occurred in 1921. The case is dated 1928 because it took that long to get
Oh
to
my
the
God.
court through the appellate system.
Are you
Efficient.
trying to say that? Are you trying to say? You're trying to say that's when Joe Biden was born or something?
No, I was like 100 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. 100 years ago.
It is 100
Wait,
years
is that
ago.
the year that the Titanic sunk? Was salmon involved in that in any way? I mean,
And can we
not to
blame
wildly speculate.
and can we blame the Titanic on Joe Biden retroactively?
yes, I think you know what. Yes,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jack would have fit on that door if Joe Biden hadn't pushed him off into the cold water.
And I'm saying completely from memory and in no way using Google at all that the Titanic actually sunk on the 15th of April, 1912.
Oh,
wow.
So it had been
1912.
underwater for 10
Wow.
year at that point in time.
yeah,
Oh,
because
wow.
Joe Biden wouldn't make the effort to go pull it up.
That's right.
Mhm.
Joe Biden and his left-wing liberal agenda just
Totally.
sinking tankers every single week.
Oh yeah.
Somebody interviewed the other day, a right winger or somebody asked, who do you prefer, Joe Biden or Vladimir Putin? And she's like, oh, Putin, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't even pause to think
Oh,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that so many people have just stopped thinking. It's like reflex as opposed to, oh, just gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the scarier thing is like, what if she was just like, oh no, clearly. I mean, I've made a clear choice. War criminal, 100%.
Yeah.
Final answer, Alex.
The butcher, Bucha, or Uncle Grandpa? I'll take the butcher.
Yeah. That nice guy that wants to expand your healthcare, or the person who was just like, civilians, schmavillions.
Yeah.
What's it gonna be?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an easy choice.
Clearly. I mean, have you ever seen Biden riding a bear with no shirt on? Yeah, you haven't.
No.
Oh,
No, that's true.
Can't say I haven't. Nor now the image is in my head and I'm a little troubled by it. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we're all seeing it. We're all seeing it.
It's just a lot of jiggling. He's probably wearing the aviators. He's got the he's got an ice cream cone.
Gil's behind him being like, get off the bear. Get off the bear. You're gonna get hurt.
Goddamn liberal bears.
Yeah.
Hey Lisa, I wanted to know, I invited you to this fancy restaurant because I think I want to ask you. I'm so nervous. I wanted to ask you a question.
Oh my God, I'm touched. I think I know what this is.
We've been dating for 5 years now.
Yes.
And I've never met anyone more special, more complete, more kind than you. And I think that maybe we should switch from just being boyfriend and girlfriend to being fiduciary partners. I think that we should have a shared financial interest moving forward. That means that any investments that I should profit from, you should profit from, or any losses that you take, I too will take, Lisa.
Oh, okay. Okay, get up off your knee. Get up off your knee.
Yeah,
get up
sorry. I put the contract in this very small box.
Yes, I see it. Yeah. Well, I'm shocked. I thought this was going to go differently. It's been 5 years. Look, I just don't know. I don't know if I want to go full fiduciary with you. You know, what if I, it's marriage is one thing. Fiduciary partners is another, though I'm not sure about that 100%.
No, Lisa, I'm sure you're right. I'm just so disappointed. I mean, oh God, I think we might even be on the Jumbotron right now.
No.
Oh, this is so embarrassing.
Oh.
But no, Lisa, just know that I still care about you so much. And trust me, I would make a very good fiduciary partner. Oh, it feels so gross trying to talk you into it.
Look, I think, I'm just saying, let's say I want to go to another game.
Oh,
do I have to bring you to every, do I have to tell you about every game that I'm going to go to? Like, what if I get tickets to the Dodgers opening day?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the way I understand it, if you go to the Dodgers game, which you are allowed to do, you can totally do that. But if you catch a foul ball at the Dodgers game, I would then get 40% of that foul ball, unless it's the playoffs, and then I'd get 50%.
That's right. You'd get 50.
Yeah.
Yes, because I do see that. Thank you. Let me take out my monocle.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, I do see that in the contract. Yes, 50% after any playoffs, postseason. Yeah. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Yes.
Attention, audience members, attention. With the person in seat 44, please stand up. Seat 44.
Mark, that's you, Mark.
Oh my God. Hi, I'm over here. I'm seat 40. I'm seat 44. Hi.
There
my God,
he
Mark.
is. We're looking at our daily winner of a brand new Lexus Hybrid.
Oh my gosh, this is so great.
2022 with all the trimmings, retail value $89,000. Lucky winner 44. Give a round of applause, folks.
Oh my gosh, this is so great. Oh, this is so wonderful.
Oh my God.
Because my 1983 AMC Pacer just conked out on me. This is perfect timing.
We barely got here in it. Oh my God. Well, Mark,
yes, Lisa.
Well, I mean, I'm a little hot and bothered here, but why don't I sign that little fiduciary paper? It's still in that box. If you want to just.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say, Lisa, I don't mean to, besmirch you or abnegate you or any of those other flowery words that I might use.
don't erode me anymore. All right, don't you dare.
But it feels a lot like your decision to sign might be, Lexus hybrid related, kind of.
No. Well, will it be nice? Yes, but I just, it just showed me the possibilities. I was thinking of it totally from my perspective. I can do this, I can do that. But then thinking it from the other side, if you're catching foul balls in the playoffs, that'll be 50% for me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now you do realize, of course, with the hybrid, I won that, prior to this agreement. So I actually,
So
you wouldn't be allowed to drive it or anything. So it doesn't count as part of the. Still the full bells, though. Still totally within the realms of Dodger games, or let's say,
Goddamn Joe Biden. I should have just signed it earlier. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe, for thinking that this was going to be a marriage proposal. You idiot. Okay.
Oh my gosh, you wanted to marry me? Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Well, I didn't get all the hints. I thought all this time you were really interested in yoking our finances together so that we could share joint profit and loss statements
we're on
over
the
a specifically limited set of time. I mean, I don't have like a ring or anything, but Lisa, will you marry me?
Yes. And then we can hammer out the fiduciary duties next.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here in the sight of God and the community to join together these two individuals, both financially and in other ways. I believe your name is Lisa, and I'm sorry, I didn't catch your fiduciary spouse partner's name. It was Troy?
No,
Mark.
No,
Mark.
Hold on.
Mark. Oh,
hold on. I'm just gonna sidebar with my brother real quick. Lisa, officiant. I'm sorry. Hey,
ladies and gentlemen, talk amongst yourselves.
Bro, this officiant you got is the worst.
What do you mean?
What? He said like for like 5 seconds before he said God, like he forgot who God was.
Look, I didn't listen. This was all last minute. I mean, you didn't really give me much time,
That's true.
So I went on Craigslist because I don't know, just old fashioned like that, and I found the first rental priest I could find. I didn't check his credentials or anything because I mean, you just told me about this like 2 days ago.
You know what? I wasn't expecting to marry Lisa either. I just thought we were getting into a fiduciary partnership. Sorry, Lisa.
No,
sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Let the paralegals are coming with some flowers. They're gonna just throw them down. Let them do that. It'll be a reset, and then the priest can take it from the top. Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll let him. Okay, we're gonna take it from the paralegals.
I love you, bro. I'm gonna head back.
Taking it from the top, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today in the sight of Jesus and
sorry, time out. Priest, can I talk to you for a second?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Look, this is my brother's big day. What the fuck are you doing? What's wrong? You can't just say, I mean, did you not prepare anything?
I mean, it's, this is my first Christian wedding, of course. I'm used to doing atheist services. So I just
Christian, oh, God, no, really?
I mean, I read the description on Craigslist and I figured, I could do it. I sort of thought I'd improvise a little bit and throw in a few Bible related things, but normally I do, completely atheist and pagan rituals. So if you want me to go that direction, we can do that.
Just pretend like you know what you're doing. Okay. That's all I ask. You just throw in some Jesus God words here and there, but just come on, let's just keep it together.
Understood. And I'm still getting paid, right?
Yes, it's
Okay,
yes.
You got my Venmo.
Let's get back to it. Come on.
Dearly beloved, Ecclesiastes and Proverbs say that the one who loveth shall be the one who lieth down in the green pastures of the Lord. And whence we shall join that which is not joined, we shall bring together the parts that are not parts, but rather a whole. And
Hey,
if
Princess
joining
Bride,
them,
can we speed this up a bit? Come on, let's go.
oh,
All right,
right,
let's get
yeah.
to the good stuff, okay?
So
I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I'm so
No,
sorry.
it's okay. It's totally okay.
So you're joining, I understand you're joining both balance sheets and lives together today. And I want to take this moment to give just a brief interlude just about myself. So if ladies and gentlemen, my name is Reverend Cheesebread, and I work through Craigslist most of the time, but I am available for any other weddings or officiations that you might need, whether it's a marriage or a baptism or perhaps a launching of a ship.
Sorry.
Just christening of a
time out. Just get over here, please.
Mark, if this doesn't start going right soon, I'm going to scream.
I understand, sweetheart. I'm also very frustrated, but fortunately, my brother's nearly out of timeouts.
Okay. Well, this is the fourth quarter. All right.
Please just stop. You can't promote a side business during my brother's fiduciary wedding.
I specifically stipulated that I would have a 1-minute ad read.
Okay, fine.
Did you not read my Craigslist? Well, I finished the ad read. Okay. All right, what do you want me to say in closing? You want me to say in closing?
Talk about Lisa. You haven't said anything about how beautiful she looks. Come on.
Oh, yes. Dearly beloved, good looking people, beautiful moment.
God.
And don't forget to tip your waiters, and thank you very much. Goodbye.
Wait, what about the whole our vows and the
right.
marriage?
Yes. Oh, yes. Go ahead.
And-
I'm sorry. So I'm going to take a timeout. I'm going to just step out. You can cover, and I'll be right back. Just a quick smoke break.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, I say we just get to the vows, Mark.
Okay. You or me first. You should go first.
I'll start us off.
Okay.
Mark, I knew I wanted to marry you the moment I met you, but it did take about 5.5 years for us to really get over the fiduciary hump, as they say. Looking at spreadsheets with you, having a series of texts that we screenshotted and said, this is enough. That really is, it's what I want now. I want to be in a partnership with you for the rest of time, that nothing will erode or deteriorate or destroy or dismantle or any of these other flowery words. I want to be strong like a rock, not weak like water, that salmon and other weak little fish that we don't care about swim in. The bastards, we crush the fish.
I told myself I wasn't going to cry.
Oh God. Hey, baby bro, can you hand me that piece of paper with my vows on it? Oh God. Okay. Lisa. Oh yeah, you got me, hon. Okay. Lisa. When I first met you, I thought, she's nice. So the next part of the wedding ceremony?
Yeah. Yes, and that was have we done the vows?
Wait, no.
Lisa and Troy.
Just that I'm nice. What about
again? It's Mark.
Right. Sorry.
I'm
Mary
more than nice. I'm more than nice.
She is more than nice. She is more than nice.
That's what I wrote down. Sorry. Okay. So let me just go off the dome here. Lisa, you're this amazing woman who's like both funny and interesting and intricate in ways that I can't possibly understand. You're like a well-written contract, and that there are layers to you that just make me even more connected to you every single day. There are clauses within our love that just bind me to you stronger and stronger. And despite any sort of violation of any single one of those clauses, clauses, the entire unit as a whole would still hold up under any strict scrutiny, and that you would be the kind of person that no matter how we were judged in any sort of way, there would be no dissenting opinion that would say there's any way I could care for you any less. And you're also really, really nice.
Oh, let me just grab this gavel I have hidden here. Here.
And I now pronounce you fiduciaries, douchiaries. That's extra big fiduciary.
And a handshake.
Yes, of course.
And we'll just sign this here really quick.
Okay, sign this here. Oh, blue or black ink, hon. Blue or black ink.
Black, please. Black.
Okay, there we go.
Yep, and initial there.
Okay.
Okay, and initial there.
Unfortunately, my brother's a notary.
Yeah.
Oh, we can get this right into effect.
I got some more for you guys. Here you go.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Well,
Ooh.
I think we can. I don't want to get too steamy here in front of the audience, or the guests.
Save that for the room, you two.
We'll save that for the room tonight.
You're next, bro. You're next. You're gonna meet the right person. I'm telling you.
I don't know. It's just I'm afraid of contract, man. It's just.
Oh, you know what? I was afraid of contract too, but then you meet somebody who you're like, that's somebody I'd sign on the dotted line for. Yeah.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah. I think so. Hey, you know what though? You can just be happy. You can just happy being in your own small business though. You don't necessarily need anybody. I just want you.
I like my sole proprietorship cave. You know, I just love how I can just answer to myself and no one else. I don't know. I'm just being selfish.
Look, we're now that you're my brother as well, and let me say this: you don't need to sign the first contract you see. Okay, you can take a look at a few contracts. You know, you can feel that. Hell, you can look at a contract, give it a thought, maybe make some edits, send it back, see what they say, and then you can move on. You know, you don't need to go all the way.
Spread my ink out, see what dries.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I mean, I would never say this with Lisa because we are connected forever now, but bro,
That's right.
limited liability. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's the 21st century. You know, I mean, sometimes you just want to limit that liability and just like short-term contract it and then, you know, move on to sign the next one.
I have my ears closed. I have my ears closed for the next
All right,
one.
locker room talk on locker room
Sorry,
talk.
yeah.
I apologize.
He's my bro. We brothers will be brothers. Anyways, yeah, you're right. I might head to the bar and I don't know, see if I can get some feelers over there. Maybe sign a contract with someone tonight. Who knows?
Oh, it looks like the priest is waving at us.
Yes, I just wanted to get my Venmo. I've got another service to do. And I've been listening. It's an interesting set of euphemisms I've never heard before, but you do you.
Priest, I got a question. That other service that you're going for, is that one that you got because of the announcement that you made during our wedding ceremony?
You know, I did receive a few texts, and it appears that your cousin and your aunt's brother, by a first marriage, Luke, yes, Luke, and I believe it was Tina, Tim, Tom. Anyway, they're getting married down at the Coconut Grove just in about 15 minutes. So,
so you know that since you were in partnership with us, when you got that text message, we are entitled to 40% of
my fee.
You know that. Yes,
absolutely. I'm just going to need your bank account information. Credit cards, ID, passport, and social security number so that I can pay you 40% of my, shall we say, fees, which will be hefty.
Yes, and that sounds right, because now that we're in a fiduciary partnership, nothing matters more than that, and you would never backstab or betray us.
Absolutely not. If there's one thing you can trust, it's a man of the cloth, particularly an atheist priest you get on Craigslist.
This is all going way over my head.
One of these days,
One of these
day, bro.
days.
One day.
These
Yeah.
days.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Maybe head out to the dance floor. Maybe you're going to be the one that catches the complicated legal contract that isn't properly read through.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know about this Venmo thing because you went in the middle of our ceremony to go grab a smoke. I'm not. I can't just not talk.
Yeah,
about
that was a long 35 minutes that you
That was a
were gone
long
for.
time.
Yeah.
That's a long show.
It's a long
They
time.
finished their own ceremony.
That's true. Would you accept a discount?
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
So I'm just going to need to know your mother's maiden name and what street you grew up on as a child, as well as the name of a pet, just for security purposes, you see. And I will be able to offer you the very small 10% discount on services rendered. Just, just a little bit of information.
Yes.
Well, my brother and I, we grew up with several pets.
Right.
I mean, in the dozens.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
Our mom ran an illegal puppy mill.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to need all that confidential information. Then I'll be happy to discount your wedding fee.
Okay. Well, so let's see. There was Gerald.
There was
Gerald.
Wimp,
Yeah.
Scooter, Bottleneck.
Bottleneck. Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Cappy, he was great. There were the ones that we named after the X-Men because there were Storm and Cyclops
Right.
and Beast, and that we went through a whole phase. And then there was Gritty and Barkers and Chow Mein.
All right.
don't
All
forget-
right. I know when you're being filibustered. I know when I'm being filibustered.
Oh,
And
these are beloved childhood pets that I hope
I'm
you meet in
being
heaven.
filibustered. And I have another wedding to go to. I will not be filibustered by you, even for a discount. You'll hear from my lawyers.
Oh,
The
that reminds me. Filibuster. One of them was named Filibuster. Sorry, go ahead.
And then another one. One of my favorites was One Foot because he just had 1 foot and you just hop around.
Yeah. Oh, and remember there was that one with that curly, like swoopy hair thing that looked kind of like Conan O'Brien, but like a hot dog Conan O'Brien. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, they're all dead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all dead.
Shame what happened
Yeah.
to them. Shame.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and Lisa, that should also answer your question why mom's not at the wedding.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Well, she deserved to go away after that.
Yeah.
Really frightening.
Awful person.
Awful.
I mean, I'll never be able to forget some of the sounds. The
Oh,
screams.
God.
Come here, bro. Bring it in, bro.
Yeah.
It's okay to cry. Hey, happy days are sad days too sometimes.
I
Lisa, get in here.
forgot to mention
Lisa, get
that
in
I
here.
do also do funerals if you're interested, and I do have a frequent services card if you're
Huh.
if I hear that you had someone near and dear to you die, and I can certainly handle pet funerals or mothers who are pets or pet mothers of pets. And I'm
Pagan
widely
pet funerals reminds me of that movie, like a dead pet, and there's like a pagan burial. The Founder. That's what it was. That scene in The Founder. Yeah, I
Yes.
remember.
That's right,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
And the moral of the story is
The moral of the story is if you want to get hot and heavy, make it fiduciary.
make it fiduciary.
Ooh.
Make it fiduciary.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, Artoun. Bringing it home.
Well, that was indeed a journey, and I did enjoy going on the journey with you all. And now Artoun's got to go.
I gotta head out.
But we're going to stay. And after this break, we're going to play Laying Down the Pretense with Henry and Steven. Take it easy, Artoun. Thanks for stopping by the show.
Artoun, great
Thanks so
playing
much.
with you.
Later, Artoun.
Great plan. This was so
All right.
fun. This is so fun. Peace.
Have a great night.
You've got mail.
Welcome back. This is Laying Down the Pretense, the game show where the questions don't make sense and the points are completely arbitrary. Today we have two heavyweight contestants. We have Stephen C. James and Henry DeWitt coming to us in the Laying Down the Law studios. Having won the coin toss, Stephen's going to go first. Stephen, this is for 100 points. If you could shoot one condiment from your belly button, what would it be and why?
Definitely ketchup. It's the condiment I use the most. Plus, it would be well disguised because it's coming out of my body. It looks a lot like blood.
Great answer. That's 100 points. 100 points. Henry, this one's coming to you. If you had to eat a crayon directly out of the box, what color would you choose?
I would say orange because I like oranges, and I'm assuming that's what it would taste like.
Great answer. Both of you have a 100 points after the first round. It's tied 100 to 100. Full credit to both of you. Next question. If you were a transformer, would you purchase car insurance or life insurance?
I would definitely purchase car insurance as opposed to life insurance because I'm well aware that I'm assuming that whether I'm an Autobot or a Decepticon, both have robust benefits packages, being a member of either one. And plus Cybertron, unlike some backwards countries, has universal health care. So no matter what, I'm in good shape. However, I know that I couldn't trust regular human beings on the road. Since I'm a car, I'm an Autobot, definitely going to get damaged that way. And if I'm a Decepticon, I'm a plane or some sort of constructor thing or some sort of dinosaur thing. It gets weird in the later years, but I wouldn't need car insurance because I'd be flying around.
Great answer. That's 100 points. All right. This is coming to you, Henry.
Yeah.
All right, Henry. If you had a choice, would you prefer to be forced to eat only extremely spicy food or only incredibly bland food?
Oh, wow. Forced to, bland as in not seasoned, right? Is that what
No
we mean
flavor.
by bland?
Mhm.
No flavor whatsoever. I think I'd go with spicy just because I like spicy food anyway, and it would be a way for me to challenge myself to sort of to build a tolerance for it.
That's a great answer. Full credit. Absolutely. All right. We are tied after 2 rounds, 200 to 200. And we're going to have to go with a tiebreaker round. All right. These are similar questions. This question is to Stephen. Stephen, is a hot dog a sandwich?
A hot dog is indeed a sandwich since it's meat between two pieces of bread, but I do understand the controversy, but I also don't understand actually giving a shit.
Great answer. That's a full credit to you. And Henry, is cereal soup?
I'm gonna say no, because I've never gotten up on Saturday morning and eaten soup.
Full credit. Well, folks, we have another tie. Laying down the pretense. Heavyweight fighters here, Stephen James and Henry DeWitt. Thank you so much for being on the show. You tied. You both get absolutely nothing as your prize, and I appreciate you being on the show.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm honored.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a big tire tonight. A big tire.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, guys, before we sign off and say goodbye, can you both just let us know where we can find you on the socials and follow you, etc.?
Well, if you're in the Los Angeles area, I recommend finding the Ledge Theater at ledgetheater.org. I believe we're going to be giving you the information so you can post it in the show notes. It's a Black theater collective, Black-owned theater collective starting up in Los Angeles. We have various homes throughout the Los Angeles area, but we're trying to start up something where people of color, where people in the LGBTQIA plus community, where marginalized folks can have a theater home where they can feel free to learn and grow in the theater community that's going to be accepting. And also you can listen for me on the Super Legit podcast that comes out every other Wednesday on your podcast provider of choice.
Awesome. And I'm going to give you the URL for those of you that are listening. It's ledgetheater.org, and that's LEDGETHEATRE.org. The British spelling.
You spelled that just as well as you did fiduciary earlier.
Fantastic. I did trip up on the A, I think. And Henry, what would you like to share with us? Where can we find you? What do you got going on the socials? Where you just want to put your phone number in the pot. Nobody listens anyway, but you can put your email address. What would you like to promote?
It's really tough following up after Stephen there. You could just follow me on Instagram at Henry the David.
At Henry the David.
I wish I had something cooler to say, but I don't.
That's awesome. Just send a shout out to Henry. Say thanks for being on the show. I appreciate you both. Shout out to Artoun, who is at Artoun Cartoon on all the socials. Thanks a lot and have a great day.